Hello, my name is Sean. Welcome to a special edition of the Emerald Gem, sponsored by Vivid Presents. I'm here with Shay De Castro.
Thank you so much for having me, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so what were we talking about a second ago?
What weren't we talking about a second ago?
Oh yeah, the shitty fucking Red Bull that I'm drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's astonishing that you're able to pull this off. I woke up this morning and I'm like, maybe she's gonna cancel. And then Max texted me and was like, yo, you should hit her up, make sure she's not gonna cancel.
I know. Thank you for doing that also, because I feel like, I don't know. I really wanted to do it also because I was looking at your podcast and I was like, these look really cool. And you seem like there are a lot of people who are doing podcasts now that are just so like awkward. Oh, and yeah. I realize it comes with time for a lot of people, but you seem like a natural conversationalist.
That's what I've been told. I'm just trying to hang out, you know?
You're like, I've been told that I'm awesome a few times. No, really, but you're really good. So I was like, okay, that's great. It's not going to be weird.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, there's some people who talk over the top of, like I'm doing right now to you, probably. Like talk over
like dominate the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whatever.
But yeah, no, I think what's really cool about this podcast is like it just gives people a chance, or like your fans, to see you as an actual person, not just somebody who's like up on stage playing music and they just see your photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I like that a lot because like up until recently, like all of my press photos, techno, you're all like serious and scary looking almost, like intimidating, I guess is the word. And like I had a promoter in Miami tell me, he's like, first of all, I didn't expect your voice to sound like that. And second of all, I didn't expect you to be like so bubbly because you look so scary in your press photos. And I was like, do I? And I didn't see myself like that because like it's like I know the full me. Obviously, I'm with me all the time. And so it's interesting to see like how people perceive you online.
For me, like I'm going through experiences and then learning things about myself, and I'm like, I guess I'm not who I thought I was in that capacity. But
true.
I am getting that like radiation from you that like you are very confident and self-assured and that you know yourself very well.
Thank you. That's really nice to hear, actually, because I mean, I would say like in the last couple of years, really like, I don't know if I can say this, but like mushrooms, but like doing it with a purpose. Mm-hmm. And also like a lot of, just like, in inner reflection, like instead of just going through life, just like doing whatever, thinking like, why am I doing this? And, is this a pattern that I'm seeing, like with relationships, for example, like not just romantic relationships, but like, why are my relationships so extreme and so like passionate for the good and the bad? You know what I mean? And then you recognize these patterns and you're like, oh, okay, this comes from this. So I'm going to consciously stop doing this or do this or whatever. And then you get to know yourself. But I think that the majority of people just like coast through life, like not even reflecting.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's easier that way.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Or like blaming people around you, like, oh, this person's crazy, and it's like, I'm kind of crazy, right? Like I'm kind of like unhinged.
That's funny. My ex texted me last night, and I'm gonna reach out to her and be like, don't fucking text me.
yeah, exactly.
But maybe I need to do some self-reflection. Like maybe I'm the problem.
I mean, maybe you're like, I'm not. Not always, though, but like, for example, in my relationships, like it would always be this common theme. And I remember my mom telling me, like, you always attract crazy people. And I'm like, looking back, I mean, some of them were definitely, but it's like I invited that into my life, because it's exciting and I like excitement. But like that kind of excitement is really damaging. So,
I'm down for crazy, but just be crazy about me.
Yeah. I need that on a shirt. Like, I love that. Yeah. I'm down for crazy, but be crazy about me and music.
Well, part of that reflection that you're talking about that I think is incredible is like finding where that comes from, like in those behavioral patterns that we might have. Because for me, I don't think I'm at that point yet. Like I can, and maybe I need like some outside perspective to help me like pinpoint why I behave the way that I do, and it's maybe because of something that I picked up in the past or from an experience or whatever. But for me, what I'm proud of is that I'm able to at least recognize when it's happening,
Yeah, that's so much more than most people, I think. It's just like, again, it's like I'm in this situation and it's this person's fault. And like, and then it's a conflict, but it's never really resolved. You know what I mean? And then I don't know, like for me, I realized like, I would lash out at people, and it's because I was hurt. You know what I mean? And it's like I didn't do it with the intention of hurting them, but it was like it was a defense mechanism. And so now I'm like, it's so great to know that about yourself. Like you can just be so relaxed and be like, okay, I'm setting this boundary, like, you know what I mean? Because you know yourself.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know myself until like a couple years ago. And I think that reflects also through music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, interesting.
Like,
yeah.
or just like even a stage presence. Like I used to be extremely shy. I know, hard to believe. But like, it's like, it wasn't my true self. It was all these insecurities that came out as me being shy. And on stage, like I look at my old videos that people took of me and I'm like just staring at the mixer. Like I can't even look at people right now. Like, what am I doing?
It's kind of in your own world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like I knew I wanted to do that. But at the same time, like before every gig, I would be feeling so sick, nervous. And yesterday I'm like, let's do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, you're kind of running on a high because you were trying to travel up here and your flights were getting delayed, and then you landed like a couple hours before you were supposed to play.
I know. I landed here and I was seeing like I was already tagged in like people opening and everything. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I need to get there right now. But it's fine. I mean,
that's some rock star shit though.
Yeah.
Like getting flown into the gig and then you're like, you show up like right when your set is and then you blow it out of the park. So last night I was at this local festival for a little while hanging out with some people, and then I came through for your set, and I heard like some of the craziest drops that I have ever heard.
What?
I was like,
thank you.
Oh, that was fucking heavy.
Thank you. That's cool. I'm glad, honestly. Well, like I know that Seattle doesn't have like a huge techno scene yet, but I've been here. This is my second time playing here, and it was already like I see a huge difference in less than a year. Yeah. About the reception and everything like that. So that's really cool.
Well, I think Cafe Racer and Vivid are a big part of that, because I was talking to a friend of mine and he loves house music. And he's like, yeah, there is not really a scene that's doing well, I guess, for house music here. But like you're saying, we're seeing the improvements. I think a space like Cafe Racer and Vivid with that void system, it's like fucking next level. Like I can't get over like what it sounds like. It's literally a movie.
It's amazing. Yeah, exactly. It's so clear, and it's like that's the best way to be exposed to techno, instead of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's like instead of like a grungy warehouse where it's like all you hear are just like whoa, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? It's like at a certain point, like, are you really appreciating techno, or what are you there for?
Yeah, I got
you. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you just want to party and like
which it's fine, but it's like I mean I do value the actual music.
Oh,
you know
of course,
what I mean? Also,
yes, let's talk about music stuff. Okay, so the little information that I have, I think you started playing drums.
Yeah.
Drums and guitar.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. My mom's first husband was a drummer, but like not even being biased, like the best drummer I've ever heard in my life, even to this day.
Damn.
Like crazy, like death metal type drumming.
Yeah, those drummers are nuts.
Insane. Yeah, exactly. Like this huge drum set. Anyway, and he taught me when I was 4. And so, yeah, like, I even have video of it, like playing the drums and everything. But he didn't read music. I never learned how to read music. I taught myself how to play guitar when I was 10. And then when I was like 12, I discovered electronic music. So that was like my obsession, and it's lasted ever since, basically.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it started with like grunge music. Like my parents listen to Nirvana, which is the perfect location for it.
100%.
Yeah, like, those kinds of bands. So I feel like there's a natural progression with like rock and grunge to techno.
Really?
Like I notice a lot of overlap. Yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I started listening to trance, techno, and I mean I was in Idaho, so that wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, let's get your timeline down, because my understanding is like you were living in Mexico. Or are you from there originally? Or
no, I'm originally from Idaho.
Okay.
And then I moved to Seattle. I lived here for actually a couple years, basically right after high school. And then I moved to Mexico. I lived there for 5 years, and I've been living in LA the last couple of years.
Okay, badass. Dude, Mexico, I imagine, was such a fun time.
So great. Like really, that's another thing that like made me, like I was forced to learn about myself, because it's like you go through life like in one country and you're like, oh, but I mean like the US is huge and there's so many different lifestyles within this huge country. But being pulled out of that, like it's like you really have to learn about yourself. Like the littlest things that you don't even think of that you learn from like day one of being alive is different in another country. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like even how to cross a road, like something that you think is so simple. You know, I almost got ran over. Like something that would never happen to me here, because I would always look both ways and things like that. Or like how to ask for certain things, or how to pay a bill. Like, you know what I mean? Like something so simple as that is different in Mexico.
Yeah, my dad was super proud when he was like, "Oh, you're paying bills now." You know? I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks, man.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, great. Yeah. So, and just like learning about how another culture is, like really being immersed in Mexican culture is so beautiful. Like, I think Mexican culture is the most beautiful thing. Like, really, I mean, even talking about it, it's like really difficult because it's so amazing. The music scene there is also incredible. Like, people are so passionate about music. And the great thing about playing there was like, I would play in like bigger clubs, but I would also play, like, there was this one club in a pueblito, like a little town. And it was literally some guy's house that he had converted into a club. Like, he just like had his room like behind the DJ booth, basically.
That's cool.
And like everyone from the pueblito came, but it was like literally everyone, like 60-year-old, like couples, like even older, and then like 15-year-olds, like everyone came and they were like listening to techno, and I was like, this is so crazy. Like, I would never see this in the US.
No,
you know?
not at all. Yeah, people like, that's not for me, or like, it's much more closed off.
Exactly. Like, they're so open-minded. And I think like before I moved there, I was so intimidated because I was like, oh, it's really Catholic. Like, I'm not Catholic. Like, I'm not religious at all. And that's another thing that made me change like my viewpoint on religion, even, is that my experience is growing up in Idaho, like everyone is Mormon. And so it was very like, I felt judged a lot by that religion, and I'm nothing against it, but anyway, and
fuck
so
that shit. Fuck Mormonism.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
That shit burns like family relationships and makes people ostracized.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
honestly,
that.
Yeah, fuck that. And so I was thinking like Catholicism maybe is like that, you know, but I realized there are different versions of the same religion depending on where you are in the world. So like Catholicism for me was, they welcomed me in and they're like, we don't care who you are, like your background or like who you love, literally. Like, all we care about is like just being a good person. And I'm like, that's it.
That is
like,
the Mexican way, man.
That's the Mexican way. Like, good food, loving each other. And it's like, how can you not love that? You know what I mean? So that was difficult coming back to the US after the pandemic, because it's like, especially in LA, people are not always like that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's part of our job as creators and musicians is to bring people together and create that space, you know? It's like everybody can be your friend here. There's no strangers, and like, let's just share making memories together, you know?
Yeah,
it's so precious.
That's so true. That's something that I loved yesterday playing here, is I was seeing people so happy out there, and I'm like, that's the best feeling, honestly. Yeah, because it's like also in LA, not to talk shit about LA, I do love it.
Oh, let's talk shit about LA.
That's good. That's great. No, it's just like a lot of people obviously are new to techno, and they're there for like the image, and they're not dancing, they're just filming you. You know what I mean? And then they record the video that they want, and then they leave.
Dude, do you ever, like whenever I take videos at concerts, I never see that video again.
Yeah, same.
You know?
Like, my phone is just like storage full, and I'm like, what is all this shit?
Like, yeah, and I'm like, there's no time to go through 7,000 photos and videos or whatever.
Exactly. And the videos are always like 7 minutes long, and I'm like, why did I do this? I know.
I will say it is nice. That's what I like about Instagram, though, because Instagram is like a digital scrapbook.
Yeah,
you know, like,
totally.
I'll just be high laying in my bed and I'll go through my Instagram. I did that the other day, and I found like all these things that I used to do, and I was like, holy shit, like songs that I don't play anymore, and I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about this song or these things that I was doing in my life at that time.
That's so true. I know, like my artist Instagram is not really like that. Well, even so, yeah. Like, I look back to like my first post, because I'm like, okay, what are people seeing? Like, what did I post? But like, I'll look back and I'm like, holy shit! Like, I was at gigs and I was like, I remember this. Like, there were like 5 people there. You know what I mean? And it's just like crazy to see that timeline also. Yeah.
It can be tough, like when you show up to a show. I doubt that's what you deal with now, but whenever you go to a show and you play for like 10 people or whatever, but you're just like, my attitude is always like, those 10 people are getting a fucking show.
Yeah. And that's great that you're like that, because a lot of people, it's like all about their ego, you know what I mean? And I do get it, because if you're producing the music or you just are so passionate about it and it's like you're not getting that reception back, it's like someone like punched you in the stomach, kind of a thing. Yeah, it's rejection at its deepest form, because I feel like music is like connected right into your center. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, my girlfriend dumped me. Why? Because she hates my art.
Oh my god, that's so like, brutal, isn't it? Like, I feel like that's another thing about being an artist, like having relationships. Like, I don't often see artists being in a relationship with another artist. I don't know if that's different for you, but like I never see that. And it's like, isn't that crazy? Because like maybe because artists are so sensitive in a way.
Maybe. I don't know. I've always liked the idea of like having a music partner that's also my romantic partner.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Just like going to produce.
Yeah.
Like
whenever I see people who have that situation, I'm like, damn, y'all got it good.
That is so amazing. Yeah, I can't even like fathom what that would be like.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I don't know.
Yeah. So some people can pull it off. But also, I think for me, at least in my world, like it's tricky because if I date somebody in my community and it doesn't work out,
exactly,
there's like ripple effects.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, even if you guys end on good terms, like everyone wants the drama. Like, no, we're going to side with this person. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like in the music scene or the arts in general, like it's just not. And it's always like they've already been with someone that is like your competition or something, or like, you know what I mean? It's always something like that because it's such a small community.
Yeah.
Even if there are a lot of people, like even with techno, like I'll be like, oh, do you know, like just in the car, Matt was listening to one of my best friends and he's like, oh, I love this song. And I was like, isn't this like Matthias' song? And then I messaged him and he's like, oh, thanks for putting that on. I was like, no, it wasn't me. It was Matt.
That's pretty special.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Music does connect.
It does, yeah. It connects. It brings us together. Lately, I've been saying I'm in the business of creating lifelong memories for people.
Wow, that's
isn't that what we do?
That's so true, though. Because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this whole trip has been such a great experience, aside from the airport part. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, get your shit together.
Get your shit together, United. No, I'm kidding. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's like I always think of like how I felt, and it is true. Like people are like, you know, people will always remember how you made them feel. Yeah. And that's true for DJs, like musicians in general, or any kind of art.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I handle rejection. If like somebody that I meet that I like doesn't want to hang out with me, I'm like, did I not make you feel good?
Yeah. But that's what it's all about, right? Like if something makes you feel good, you're obviously going to be more attracted to it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so your path was you were learning the drums when you were 4 years old. You taught yourself guitar, and then you did the natural pipeline from grunge music to techno. But then I think if I got this right, you got your start playing out techno music when you were living in Mexico?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I did learn how to DJ when I was still living in Idaho, but it wasn't like there was a scene for me to progress in.
Gotcha.
But then in Mexico, yeah, like the thing is like when you're a foreigner in Mexico, like obviously it's less now because everyone's moving there, but you stand out more, obviously. And they're like, oh, this girl, she's a DJ from the US. Like, let's book her, right? Yeah, okay. And then that's how I learned Spanish. And then because I was like, I have to learn finally to get bookings. And anyway, so yeah, I played in like 29 states there. So I got like a lot of practice in a short amount of time.
Okay, sick. That's kind of cool. It's like how you cut your teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Is one of the terms.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. And it was interesting because it's such a different scene than here in the US because people are so much more receptive, I think, to different, which is interesting. I'm not sure why, but people are so much more receptive to different things in general that they're not subject to, I guess. Like here, at least where I'm from, like in Idaho, people are very set in their ways. Oh, yeah. And they're like, no, I don't want to listen to this. Oh, this is for these kinds of people. Or these are for like people who do drugs. You know what I mean? And it's like, yes.
Like, you know it.
Yeah, like, hell yeah. No, anyway. But in Mexico, it's just like people are just like, they take it as it comes to them. And I love that.
That's cool. It's all about joy. You know? Just joy, have a good time, don't take yourself too seriously.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
That's been something that I've had to learn in the last like year or two is like kind of letting go of some of my greater ambitions, still having them and like pointing my boat towards these things that I want, but trying to understand that like, you know, when you take that too seriously or you're too, if you're holding on to the things that you want too much, then it can just lead to like heavy disappointment and then you're not focused on just where you are and what you have.
That's so true. Like that's something that I really struggled with for the first like 4 years of DJing seriously, well, like in my mind seriously, is like I would always compare myself to other people. And then I would be scrolling through Instagram and I would feel bad. And I would sit there and I like do this body scan if I feel like sad or something. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And then I'll like scan through like every like section of my life. And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm comparing myself to these people.
Damn, that sounds like a superpower.
No,
to be able to like
can,
scan through your life and like sit there and reflect on that deep of a level.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like I have like little like compartments in my mind, I guess, and it's like music, like relationships, like, you know, parents or whatever, or like, is it an insecurity that I have like about how I look or whatever. And it always comes back to like comparing. So then I was like, okay, this is like every time I'm feeling sad, it's because of I'm looking at Instagram and comparing myself. And I'm seeing these people on these lineups. And it's not that I'm not happy for them, but it's like you feel like left behind almost, you know, or you're like, oh, I have to be at this level too or whatever. And then when I finally, like also around the last year or so, like I started being like, look at where I came from. You know what I mean? Like I have like 15-year-old me would be so proud of me right now. You know what I mean? And that really says more than anything else. You know what I mean? And then you like, that sounds so cheesy and cliche.
No, I'm just thinking about myself, and I think my 15-year-old self would be like, Sean, you're a fucking loser.
That is so, I know that's not true. Come on.
No, it'd be like, dude, we're supposed to be like the biggest rock star by now.
Oh my gosh. No, but and me too also, it's like, oh, by the time I'm 20, like I'm going to be like this massive touring DJ, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, let's be realistic. Like 20, you're in the US. Like also when I was 20, like electronic music wasn't as popular as it is now. Definitely not as popular as it is in Europe or even South America.
That's right. So, you toured Europe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that like?
So crazy.
It's gonna be badass.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing that like made me feel so good because it's like, you know what? Like not a lot of people have this opportunity, and to see like Berlin in particular, like the way that it's incorporated so deeply into their culture is so cool. Like, I mean, I was playing at this club called Retabutska, and I had like a sunrise set, and the place I was playing in was like the garden room, and it was like a greenhouse, so it had like that glass ceiling, and so I was seeing the sun coming out as I'm playing, and there are like vines hanging from the ceiling, and it was so cool, and everyone is just like vibing, right? And then I finished my set, and everyone's leaving, right, because it's like morning, and it was a Monday. And so I'm walking back to the hotel. We're walking back to my hotel, and I see this woman that was during my set, and she walks into an office building. And I'm like,
no
so she
way.
just like went to work. Like that is so cool.
That's badass.
That's so cool. And I feel like it's interesting also, just an observation, that I never saw anyone like really like fucked up like I do here. Like people who are so drunk, they're like falling over themselves or whatever. I never saw that in Europe. And so I wonder like if it's because it's like there's not this limit that you really have like all weekend. Like a club will open at Friday night and be open till Monday morning. And so you can just like come and go as you please. Instead where it's like we have 4 hours to party. So people are like, let's do shots. Like, let's do this, let's do that. And then in those 4 hours, like you really have to make it count like from 10 to 2. You know what I mean? Right?
That sounds so ridiculous.
Isn't it crazy? Like, and there's like pre-gaming too, because you're like, I already have to be drunk when I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I
then
mean?
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. Exactly. And then like you do a couple shots when you're at the club, and then it's 2 a.m. and you're like, oh shit, what are we doing now? And there's nothing to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or maybe there's an afters, but it's like, I don't know, kind of lame.
That is a weird thing that I've always thought. It's like 2 a.m. comes, and then it's just like let all the drunk people out into the street at the same time.
Yeah, like
it's like who thought that was a good idea?
Exactly, like just open the barn doors. You know what I mean? Like let everyone out. I don't know. It's like that's something else that made me realize like maybe we should consider changing things, but obviously that's easier said than done.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I want to change things most definitely. A lot of it just comes down to like government subsidizing art to make it easier for us to live our lives and to foster career growth for people who want to be musicians. You know?
Yeah, I think it's like once the government sees the financial benefit of art a little bit more, then they'll be like, okay, like let's subsidize this. No, but it's like also in Amsterdam when I was there, like I realized that the government has Amsterdam Dance Event, right? So it's like this huge festival that happens every year in October, and like people from around the globe come there to like, you know, network, play, whatever. And like the government is all on board with it. You know what I mean? Like you'll see like billboards of DJs like at the airport. Cool. Like it's so cool. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like I can't even fathom that here. You know what I mean? Maybe one day.
Yeah, for some reason over here it just feels like we don't value our arts and culture enough.
Exactly.
But it's like one of the most paramount things of the human experience.
I feel like almost everything relating to like self-discovery and reflection is suppressed here. You know what I mean? Not by us, but like by the government.
No, yeah, I'm laughing because it's true.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, no. We don't want you guys to like discover yourselves. Just make us money. You know what I mean?
Just be a good worker.
Just be a good worker, yeah.
I've always been a shit one.
Yeah, same. Same. Unless it like I used to be like I worked in customer service. I was like a waitress, whatever. And I did love doing that because I love like people.
Okay, cool.
But like if I were working in an office, absolutely no.
Nope.
Like,
I remember we were talking about this the other day. My dad, he like took me to work as a kid, you know, like, oh, let's go to work with dad. And I remember when we got there, I fucking threw up in his office. And my friend's like, why'd you do that? I'm like, cause man, there's something in the air in that fucking office, bro. It's toxic. The energy in there, dude.
No, honestly, that's like I know it sounds crazy, but it's possible. Really, like you're like, and you knew from a young age, which is great. You know, like having that visceral reation, you're like, absolutely no.
Like my body was just rejecting the space, you know.
Yeah, honestly, and it's like I feel like I'm not trying to talk down about anyone, but I feel like most people as children are not like, hey, I want to grow up to work in this cubicle or whatever. Yeah. And like I've talked to so many people where they're like, how did you know what your passion was? And it's like, there were a few years where I like told myself, you can't do this because everyone and their dog is a DJ now. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to have so much competition. And then like one day I was just like, why am I not doing this? Like I'm going to have so many regrets if I don't.
Exactly.
And so they were like, how did you like rediscover that? And I was like, I just went back to my passions when I was a kid. Because it's not like they went away. You just kind of like suppressed them. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got to keep that inner kid alive.
Exactly. You really do. Like, and we are, this is so lame. We are really all children, you know? It's just like 100%. You're forced to
That is not lame, dude. That is fucking awesome.
Right. It's so true. It's just like now we have to pay bills.
Yeah, it's just like there's this weird like societal element of like this is how you're supposed to behave, and like there are some elements of like growing up being an adult and important, like just being organized.
Yeah, that's difficult. I know.
Me and my friend were talking about. He was like, "Dude, I've been buying toilet paper and paper towels at the dollar store, man. It's cheap and they've got good stuff." And he was like, "Man, I'm such a fucking adult. I'm excited about buying toilet paper."
Oh my god, I know. When you get a new appliance, like I never thought I'd see the day that I get excited about like a crock pot. But anyway.
But no, it's great, you know. It's like I think those are like the really cool things about being adults, just like being organized and taking care of yourself. But in terms of taking yourself too seriously, it's like no, like that's where you need the inner child to be alive, because that's where like our joy comes from. And when we have kids, we look at them and we're like, you're the future, and we want to preserve like this beautiful thing that you currently are, and that you're just taking the world in and you're taking it in with joy, and you're being kind to the people around you, you know?
Absolutely. That's like why I love kids. Like I'm not gonna have any, but like I love being around them.
I love being an uncle, dude.
Being an aunt is like the best thing because you can give them back when they cry. But like kids are so amazing because they have no filter. Also, when they compliment you, you're like, thank you, because I know you meant that. Yeah. And just seeing that from like this unfiltered vision is amazing, you know, and like they don't know how to lie. I mean, maybe they do, but like they lie badly. And yeah, kids, they just don't hold back. And it's like, I want to be like that now. You know what I mean? But society's like, at 25, you should be married with kids and you shouldn't be going out. You know what I mean? Like that's irresponsible. In a lot of cultures here, at least,
because they want us to submit.
Submit to the man, you know. And it's like, I'm good. Obey. Yeah, exactly. I've read 1984 a little too many times.
Dude, I couldn't get through like 10 pages of that, actually.
Really? I'll like narrate
reader.
It for you.
I'm a good writer, but I'm a terrible reader. Yeah, because for me, writing is like another form of escape. So it's like I wrote a book a couple years ago, and when I was writing it, I felt like I was just living it, you know.
Wow.
And then I was just recording it as it was happening.
What was your book about?
It was a sci-fi fantasy called A Journey to Escape, about a guy who discovers that he has another body on another planet, that when he sleeps, he lives that life. And he finds out he has this entire destiny to like transfer over to that other life.
Like when he dies, or
maybe.
Oh shit! I need to read this book.
It's kind of weird.
That's really interesting because, like, yesterday on the plane, I was actually thinking. I don't know why. I was like, "What?" I think I was just tired. I was like, "If I'm dreaming, like, okay." I was watching this thing the other day that this guy took DMT.
Wow.
And he lived a whole life. Like he was trying to, like him and his friend were trying to see how much they could take. And like he was like, I saw myself being born.
Oh
like
my
I saw
God.
myself growing up. I had a wife, I had kids, whatever. And then he got hit by a car on his trip. And then he came back to like reality, right? And he said that his girlfriend had a dream that he got hit by a car and died.
Holy shit.
And I was like, that's like completely broke. I was like, what if like when we die, we just like continue into another timeline like that?
I mean, for me, I've kind of always felt that. I remember talking to a friend, and everyone has a different existential crisis. And his existential crisis was like, oh my God, I'm so small, like nothing matters. I'm just going to die and then it's all going to be over. And for me, I'm like, my existential crisis is like, oh my God, life is infinite. And it's just like repeating over and over again. And it's like,
there's no escape.
It's like the opposite. Yeah. So,
yeah, I feel like that's comforting and worrisome at the same time, like both of those ideas, because it's like, for me, like yesterday we had bad turbulence, and I don't usually worry about that kind of stuff because I read that like turbulence has never been a reason for a plane crash, but I don't know if they're just saying that to comfort us. But anyway, we had pretty bad turbulence, and I was like, I don't want to die. Like,
me neither.
You know what I mean? Like, I am happy, and it like, even though I complain sometimes, like, like I was all day today, like I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean?
Dude, me too. I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about how, well, for me, I was saying that life is fucking awesome. And he's like, well, sometimes it's not. And then I thought about like times in my life where I didn't want to be alive, and I'm like, "Fuck that, man! Life is awesome."
Yeah,
I'm about it.
Exactly. Like when I was growing up, I was so depressed. Like I felt so alone, and I remember music actually being the thing that really really is the only reason I would say I'm here today. And so it's like the fact that like I came from that, and so many people have come from that. You know, like I've met so many people that are like, music really saved my life, and I believe it. To be doing this, and it's like, hell yeah, I love life. And also life can't always be great, because then you wouldn't have that comparison,
right?
Like even that would end up being lame eventually.
I think there's an inevitable possibility. There's always going to be bad things that happen, or you're going to get knocked down and stuff like that, but part of me does want to believe in a world where that doesn't have to happen.
Me too. That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you know yourself enough, obviously with like exceptions of like death and stuff like that, like you can just manage things in a way that doesn't affect you not so deeply, but you are like, okay, I'm learning a lesson from this, or something like a breakup or something like that, you know, where before it would be like, oh, this has like destroyed my life. And it's like, okay, well, let me look at the actions that I took that led me to this point and what I can learn going forward. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. It's I think the biggest thing is like death, right? It's like that is, I think, the worst thing that all of us, I don't know, there's a lot of terrible things that happen in the world of people. But for the most part, I think like in an ideal world, that should be the worst thing they have to go through is just loss, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, because it's like the only constant is change, and change is kind of like a loss in a way. Like even coming back to Seattle, I was thinking this morning, looking out my hotel room window, I was like, that wasn't there before, and I was like, in a way it's like a loss because it was a change, you know. And like I don't even remember what was in that place before, but I just didn't like the fact that it was different than I had in my memory. You know what I mean? But I think as humans, like it's inevitable that you hold on to these.
We're so sentimental.
Yeah, and that's
I think
beautiful.
that's an artist thing, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
We're sensitive and sentimental.
Exactly. Yeah, because like one of my friends, he's like a very well-known techno producer and DJ. He's like, I'm retiring this year. And I was like, I can't imagine like a timeline without you like being an artist in that way, or like, but that doesn't make you less of an artist. You're just not releasing and touring, you know what I mean? Like you're still that person, but it's just like sad. I don't know. And it just because it's change.
It is. Yeah. And change is good, but yeah, I think you nailed it. It's like change is also loss, and it's tough to cope with. When did you know that this is what you wanted for your life? Like to be an artist and a musician and put what you have into it?
I knew this since I can remember, but I let society and no, it's like your own limits, because you're the only one that can put limits on yourself.
True.
Truly. So I told myself like all these excuses. And then I remember being in Mexico and it's like, I felt like I had a clean slate because no one knew me. Like I was freelance writing. So it's not like I had to go to a location to work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have all this free time in the day. What do I want to do? And I remember seeing Coma. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a one kind of techno producer. Okay. I remember seeing him playing like, I think it was Transmission or something festival on YouTube. And I was like, I love this more than anything. Like, why am I not doing this? Mm-hmm. And literally the next day I bought a controller and I was like, I'm doing this.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
Like, it was just like that. It's so cliche, but yeah.
No, it's not cliche. I mean, I guess it's cliche, but I think that's the most powerful thing is like a live performance moves you.
Yeah. It was so amazing that I was like, oh my God. Like, I remember the first time I saw actually Freak Night 2013 here. I was working as a photographer in the photo booths.
Oh, sick.
And I remember it was the first DJ set I ever saw. And it was Ferry Corsten and Marcus Schultz. And I cried. Like, and I was like, nothing else can do that to me. You know, now it's like anything can make me cry, but like,
yeah, no, I was getting a little emotional here. I knew it coming into it. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking get emotional.
That's a good thing though, and that's another thing that I'm like in Mexico. Everything comes back to Mexico. In Mexico, I saw this more raw emotion from everyone, like people even like kissing their significant others for more than like a second on the street corners, you know, and it's like it's just like a common thing to like express how you feel like in any form. And like anger, love, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we not do that here? Like, we're so afraid of people judging us because I don't feel like I judge other people on that, but I'm so scared. Like, oh God, maybe I'm going to make this person uncomfortable, or like, maybe I'm going to offend this person, stuff like that. And it's like, I think in that process, you're limiting yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You only got one life to live, you know? Every day could be your last go to the max, you know?
Exactly.
Like whenever you're talking about that Berlin show and that woman was at your show and then she goes to work, it's like, this is what my fucking day is going to be, you know? Like, I'm going to go see this show.
Yeah.
I'll go to fucking work or whatever. But it's like, if this is, that's a hard thing to really accept, is that every day could potentially be your last day, you know? But if you can really like find a way to live that way, then I think that you'll find more joy, you know, because you're like, I'm going to be enjoying life, you know? Yeah,
because it's like, my thing was like, I'm going to live forever. I feel like I'm going to live till I'm like over 100 years old.
Just as you are now.
Just as I am now, whatever. And anyway, so I like wouldn't do anything because I'm like, I'm just going to live forever. Like these like 100 years supposedly are going to last forever. And I'm like, no, I'm getting older. Like the time is passing. So like the time is going to pass regardless. I might as well enjoy it and do these things that are going to like future me is going to thank me for. And that's so true. It's like, I'll do things or like I'll send emails or make content or like whatever. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do this. And then it's like I get a booking from it and that leads to something else. Right. And I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's some shit you got to deal with if you want to make it happen in the music industry. That's for sure.
Like more than ever, I feel like now. Just like ridiculous things that don't have anything to do with music. But at the same time, it's kind of like marketing is everywhere in every industry, I think. Because it's like it all comes back to how you make people feel, you know what I mean? It's like marketing is how you make people feel. And so it's like, like you can have like a band like the Beatles and they had great marketing. You know what I mean? Because when I think of the Beatles, I think of like their album covers and all these things, like the Yellow Submarine, whatever.
The haircuts.
The bowl cuts. Yeah, exactly. Like all these things, I don't even think really of their music. I'm not really a Beatles fan, but like, you know what I mean? Or Nirvana. It's like, they were so like, it was all marketing basically. I mean, they have great music, don't get me wrong, but like, and they had to do these things. And I remember like, I think it was Kurt Cobain actually, who it's like, he didn't want to do the music video for Smells Like Teen Spirit. And they're like, no, but MTV is now a thing now. So you guys are all going to have to do music videos. You can't just like sit there like behind a microphone and that's it. Like you have to put yourself out there. And he was very resistant and was like, I don't want to like put myself on video. And it's just crazy to think that there are bands that were like at that time doing what we're doing now with TikTok and things like that. God, you know what I mean? Like it's the same concept. Like I don't want to do reels and TikTok, but you have to, because if you don't, someone else will.
Yeah. It's tough, right? It's a line to draw, because for me, ideally, all I want to do is perform. Like, just let me play and write the music, because that's what feeds me. That's what I want to do. And it would be a dream come true of somebody else took care of all the other
Yeah,
stuff,
exactly.
you know, so
Yes.
that the artist can just focus on being who we are, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like, yeah, you gotta draw this line where it's like, okay, you can have that, like you can do that, just be the artist, just play the music, but you're gonna miss out potentially on all these other opportunities if you don't do the work, or if someone's not there to do the work for you. So it's like
Exactly.
this balance of like sacrifice or whatever, you know? It's
Yeah, like yesterday, this guy messaged me on Instagram, and he was like, "It's crazy to see like how like you just came out of nowhere. Like I've been following you on TikTok," and I'm like, "Really? Like I've been doing this for such a long time, and I don't even know." And it's like you must have seen like one TikTok, but that's like another thing is it's like with one video. Like I had a video like get 1 million views or something, 2 million views
Whoa.
on Instagram, and it's like they're like, "Oh, it's crazy that you're blowing up," and it's like. I'm doing what I've always done, but it's like this one reel gave you that visibility.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how it is. I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
It is a strange thing.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
Cause like I naturally am like, I hate being like on camera. Here I am. But like I don't know. It just doesn't feel like my genuine self. And it's like, I wish I could just perform, but it's like, you know, like at the same time, it's kind of this ego thing where it's like, I'm so good that like, I don't have to do this. You know what I mean? But all of you guys, you have to do it, but I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be an artist. And it's like, yeah, but there are artists out there that are better than you and they're doing content. Right. And they're, you know what I mean? Doing all these things. So it's like.
Well, better subjective though.
That's true. That's true. That's a long conversation.
So where do you want your life to be like in the next 5-10 years when it comes to music? What's your dream?
I would say like I have a list of like some festivals in my mind that I've wanted to play since I was a kid. So I'm like, I definitely want to do these things, but I want to come to a point where it's like I have this very well-defined sound that I'm like, this is exactly what it sounds like in my mind because I'm not there at 100% of the way. And also to like continue my self-discovery as a person, which again reflects through music, and be like 100% confident, or at least 99% in like my track selection. Like I don't even care, like this is me, you know what I mean? And it, like take it or leave it really, instead of like these like focusing on politics, like, oh, should I play this track, should I play this, is this too commercial, is this too, like just do whatever you want, you know what I mean? And I think I still find myself questioning that right now. So I would love to do that. I would also love to, like right now I'm working 2 other jobs, like full time.
Oh, fuck.
So it's like,
hey, we got to stop that. Come on.
yeah, I know. So it's like, I definitely want to have, like, I'm getting to the point where really I could probably just be doing this now, but I'm the kind of person where it's like, you have to have a plan B and a plan C, you know what I mean? Cause like, I don't want to put myself in that situation. Also as an artist, like I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but like you do give yourself more freedom in a way, maybe not with time, but like having that backup to explore more and be crazier, like more wild with your ideas. Because it's like I'm not relying on this booking to pay my rent. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Those experiences bleed into the art too.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that I do work so much, it's like I might complain about like doing reels and stuff, but it's like I either do reels or I'm like doing work for someone else. You know what I mean? Like regardless, it's work. So like it makes me also value these moments more. The
moments where you can just be who
just
you
do like music, because it's like music, you know, my other job, I'm a freelance writer, and then I work in hi-fi. So like speakers, like hi-fi speakers. Oh, like I do like tech and stuff for them. Oh, badass. So yeah, what was I gonna say? So which is kind of related, but like being able to really just do me, like I don't have to answer to anyone really, makes me value it more. And I'll never forget like having to work all this time, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in 5 years, I would really like, well, ideally less, to be doing this just alone.
Dude, this year.
Yeah, this year, hopefully.
Well, you are playing a big festival, right? Aren't you playing EDC?
Beyond Wonderland.
Beyond Wonderland.
Yes. Yeah. In a couple weeks, which is like my first big one.
Fuck, that's gonna be awesome. Are you stoked?
Thank you. I'm stoked, but I'm also like internally like freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna play? Like I haven't even, you know what I mean? Like I have ideas, but I'm like, I don't even know. And like, what if they like these like thoughts? I'm like, what if they hate me and whatever? No, I doubt it. Thanks for that. But yeah, like things like that. But I am really excited to just like have that full experience. because I know it's going to change my perception, motivate me more. You know what I mean? Like being around artists. What I want is like to always be like the smallest artist on a lineup, like of those kinds of festivals. You know what I mean? At least for the next couple of years. Like I want to like be surrounded by people that I really admire. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Where it's like one of those, like you're the product of the closest 5 people to you or whatever. So I
was thinking about that this morning, you know?
You're like, who was I hanging out with?
I was like just brushing my teeth. I'm like, yeah, you know, like the people that are like close to you, it's like they shape you.
They really do. Yeah, absolutely.
This is me brushing my teeth.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like this. Yeah, even like your environment, I think I focused on that more lately. Like I just moved to Long Beach. I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but I was living in Westwood, which is it's next to UCLA, and it's like, but there's not like a student scene that you would expect, like with arts and like expression or whatever. It's like mostly just a lot of old people there, like I'm saying like 90 plus years old, like you know, like retirement home status, and you know, it was just like very docile, and I didn't feel inspired at all. And like being in Long Beach, even though it's grungy and a little like sketchy, it's inspiring because it's like that rawness, like that unfiltered expression of humanity that in a way I really like and is really inspiring, even though you see like there's a lot of homeless people and stuff like that, like that's hard to see, but it's like I don't know, any form of like raw, complete expression without filters, is really inspiring. So, and like that sounds so weird. Like I'm inspired by the homeless guy like around the corner, but
dude, those are the people who are free.
Yeah,
like, they are free. They wake up and they do whatever they want for their day.
Exactly. And like if you talk to a lot of them, I mean, like some of them, unfortunately, like you know, like veterans that have mental problems and stuff like that, and that's really unfortunate. But there's some, and they're like, "Fuck the system," like you know what I mean, and to its fullest. And here I am, and it's like you talk to them and I'm like, whoa, am I the idiot? Like, am I the one that's like,
I've thought that about myself.
You know?
That's what I'll tell people. I'm like, I think they know something that we don't.
That's how I feel too. Because I think it's more prevalent now than ever. Obviously for other reasons too. Mm-hmm. But I'm also like, I think that we're coming to this place where there's like a really great divide happening. And more people are just going to be like going off the grid, like in any form, whatever that means. Dude. Because especially like here in the US, I feel like it's becoming uninhabitable in a lot of ways. Like how many hours a week can people work? And like, you know what I mean? Like working 40 hours a week, I feel like you should not have to worry about rent or
100%.
Like,
yeah, definitely. Let's get some fucking services going on for like health insurance. And it is amazing. Like for me, I think the biggest issue that we have as a society is just poverty. Like solve poverty, you solve so many other issues. You know? I
think also like, again, Mexico, that gave me another perspective is that family is the most important thing. And I think that here in the US, and I'm definitely guilty of it, like I think that American culture, like families who have been here for many generations, it's very transactional in a lot of families. Like for example, like my mom, she lives 15 minutes from my grandma and she maybe sees her like maybe once a week. And my grandma lives by herself. You know what I mean? And it's like my, you know, like my family in Mexico, like my in-laws and stuff, like they can't even fathom that. You know what I mean? Like if they're not feeling good or whatever, like they'll make like the trek an hour to see them or whatever, like every day. And because family is the most important thing. And so I noticed that in Mexico, there's like almost no homeless people. And I was thinking, why is that? Because it's not like you have help from the government like you do here, like shelters and things like that don't really exist. But your family is not going to let you down. And even though you're like difficult or whatever, it's like, they're not just going to be like, yeah, you're annoying us. Or you offended me. So like, I'm going to cut contact, you know? And I'm definitely guilty of that where I'm like, you know what, for my mental health, like I'm not going to talk to you. But it's like, is it so bad? Like maybe it's something that they're putting a spotlight on me that's bothering me so much. You know what I mean? Like I can fix that within myself, not promoting like being in a toxic relationship. Yeah. But it's like a lot of the times it's like, it's a learning experience. Mm-hmm. Like even with my parents, like when I moved to Mexico, like I would say like almost estranged. And then learning from Mexican culture, I was like, okay, like I should be, like they gave me life. You know what I mean? Like, what more can you give someone, really? You know what I mean? And, like, I should be, even though they, like, piss me off sometimes or I don't agree at all or they, like, hurt my feelings, whatever. It's like I I don't want to lose that relationship. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can manage myself better. But anyway, I don't know where we were going with this.
We're just talking about like why people are taking care of each other in Mexico.
Taking care of each other. And so I think like just family, and it doesn't have to be blood family, but just like having that really like a solid community. Like I got hit by a car in Mexico a few months ago.
Like your body or your car?
Like my body.
Oh shit.
You know what's crazy? I'm like, I never felt like I was going to get hit by a car in my life. But anyway, like who does, right? And anyway, like I was standing at a taco stand with my mother-in-law, and this, like we were going Christmas shopping, and there's this area of Guadalajara that's just like 4 blocks full of just like vendors, like clothing and stuff like that. So we were casually walking around. We're like, let's get tacos. So we're at this taco stand, and there are cars passing, but like maybe 5 miles per hour, right? Because it's very pedestrian. And all of a sudden, this car just like flies into the whole taco stand and like takes all of us. There were like 15 of us, and it's just like dominoes, and I was the last domino. And so I was like, I held all of us up. I don't even know how I did, because I was like, if I fall and hit my head, like the car's gonna run me over, you know? So like it was so crazy. Anyway, the guy just like plowed through, took the taco stand with him, like the workers, everything. Luckily, like no one was seriously injured. And he tried to flee. So like everyone that was on that street just surrounds the car.
Hell
and
yeah.
it was like this angry mob in seconds. And they're like, and the guy was like super drunk. It was like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And the guy was wasted. And he's a lawyer. Like, it's like, it turns out like it was crazy. Anyway, I was thinking like, this is community, because like the fact that they surrounded this guy for hours waiting, because the cops took forever to get there, because they just care about me. Like, I'm a stranger. They don't even know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I was at this festival yesterday, and this guy was like passed out on the ground, and I was like, oh shit. And as soon as I saw that, I like ran to go find somebody who works there, and I'm like, dude, there's a guy passed out on the ground. He's like, someone's on it. And I was like, okay. And then I walked back over there. I'm like, there's no one over here. And then he came behind me, and I'm like, yeah, it's strange. I think in America, we do live in a place where, like, when tragedy things happen, people just, like, stand and watch.
Yeah, they stand and watch, but also, like, it's just kind of like every man for himself in a lot of ways. But it's difficult, too, because, like, living in a major city, you see, like, for example, a lot of homeless people. And I think for your own, like, mental well-being, you have to be like, oh, well, they're there because they decided to be or whatever. Like, you can't let that... I remember when I first came back to the U.S., I was very deeply affected by seeing so many homeless people, because I'm like all the suffering like around you all the time is really hard. And over time, I've noticed that I've become like more callous to it. And like, is that a good thing? I don't think so. But you have to continue with your daily life.
Exactly.
And I think that applies to every person. You create this like boundary, you know, it's like, oh, that's their problem. You know? And in Mexico, it's like for the good and the bad, like, no, your problems are my problems. Like, give me the chisme.
Now that is community.
Yeah, that is community. Yeah. Exactly. For the good and the bad, like, there's always a pro and a con.
Mm-hmm. Well, Shay, I've really enjoyed getting to know you and having you on the podcast. I'm so glad that we've made this work.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, because I know, like, also you changed your plans for me a few times. So thank you. Oh,
it's the weekends.
Thank you. No, thank you, though. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish you the best. It seems like you have a very bright future ahead of you. Like, you have the light, you have the ambition and the drive, and it's all coming from a well-sourced intention.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
So, yeah, thanks. So I believe in you, and I'm excited to see where you're going to go.
Thank you.
I can't wait till the next time I get to hear some of those heavy fucking drops of yours.
Hell yeah. Yeah, next time we have to have an interview with Ronan, also the rat.
Oh, yeah, totally. Maybe we'll feature him. We'll just like bring him up to the camera. Really quick,
yeah. It's his last time when I was playing, he was like on the stage, and I was like, what is going on right now? Like, they're like, why are you like hanging out with rats? I'm like, I'm spent too much time in Pioneer Square. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad to know you.
Likewise. Thank you.